Welcome to Concrete Block, the podcast where we dive into the latest news and trends shaping our world. I'm your host, Walter. Today, we're looking at the complex web of international relations and diplomacy, particularly in the context of British Prime Minister Keir Starmer's recent visit to China. This visit is part of a broader strategy often referred to as the China pivot, where countries aim to strengthen their economic and diplomatic ties with Beijing as a counterbalance to the influence of the United States, especially under the presidency of Donald Trump. The trip by Starmer follows similar visits by other world leaders, including Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, highlighting China's growing importance on the global stage. During his visit, Prime Minister Starmer engaged in high-level talks with Chinese officials, discussing a range of issues from trade and investment to security and climate change. The visit resulted in several agreements aimed at enhancing bilateral cooperation, particularly in the areas of technology, energy, and education. These deals reflect the mutual interest of both countries in expanding their economic partnership and navigating the challenges posed by the evolving global landscape. However, analysts also point out the drawbacks and challenges associated with this China pivot. For instance, there are concerns about the human rights situation in China, its assertive foreign policy, especially in the South China Sea, and the implications of deepening economic ties for national security. Moreover, the strategy requires a delicate balance between fostering cooperation with China while maintaining strong relationships with other key partners, including the United States. The visit by Britain's Starmer to China underscores the ongoing shift in global geopolitics, where countries are seeking to diversify their alliances and partnerships in response to rising tensions between major world powers. As we continue to navigate this complex landscape, it will be crucial to monitor how these diplomatic efforts unfold and their impact on international relations. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're diving into a complex issue that's been making headlines lately: the dissemination of inaccurate information by government officials, particularly when it comes to immigration policy. A recent investigation has uncovered numerous instances where the Department of Homeland Security and other government agencies have publicized false or misleading information about individuals, often with serious consequences. One notable case involves Ramon Morales Reyes, a Mexican immigrant who was falsely accused of threatening to assassinate President Trump. Despite being cleared of these charges, Morales Reyes is still facing deportation proceedings, and his lawyer claims that the government has yet to properly clear his name. This incident raises important questions about the potential for abuse of power and the impact of misinformation on individuals and communities. Another example is the case of George Bovino, a DHS official who was accused by a federal judge of outright lying in his court testimony. This finding is part of a larger pattern of government officials being called out for providing false information, with over 60 instances documented so far. It's essential to approach this topic with nuance and balance, recognizing that the dissemination of misinformation can have far-reaching consequences. We must consider the potential motivations behind these actions and the impact on individuals, communities, and the broader social fabric. As we explore this issue further, it's crucial to prioritize fairness, accuracy, and transparency. By examining the complexities of this topic and seeking out diverse perspectives, we can work towards a deeper understanding of the challenges at play and the potential solutions. Welcome back to Concrete Block. As we wrap up today's show, let's take a look at some of the latest news from around the world. We've got two major stories that caught our attention, one from the business sector and another from the global economy. First off, INEOS, the chemical giant, has announced plans to build a new plant in the United States. This move is expected to create hundreds of jobs and boost the local economy. The company has stated that the new facility will be focused on producing sustainable materials, which aligns with their commitment to reducing carbon emissions. On the other hand, we have some news from the global economy. The appointment of Kevin Warsh as a potential candidate for the Federal Reserve chair has sparked interest among investors. Some analysts believe that Warsh's stance on monetary policy could lead to changes in interest rates, which would have far-reaching implications for the global market. In other news, INEOS has received approval for a significant investment in the UK. The company plans to upgrade its existing facilities and increase production capacity, which is expected to have a positive impact on the local economy. We also want to bring to your attention the latest developments in the European economy. Germany, Italy, and Spain have all reported better than expected growth at the end of last year, demonstrating resilience in the face of trade turmoil. Lastly, let's talk about Africa, which is drawing significant attention from major oil companies this year. With plans to drill over twice as many high-impact exploration wells as any other region, it's clear that Africa is becoming a key player in the global energy market. That's all for today's Concrete Block. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay informed.